Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the witnesses for the important work that you do. I hate it when people act as if there was no history before we walked into a room and pretend that the reality of discrimination against groups of people did not actually happen. Many groups of people, Irish, face discrimination, but others have faced much more serious discrimination that still needs to be repaired and remedied. And the discrimination was not accidental, it was intentional. And the discrimination was perpetrated by the State Department and by Congress. And so the actions that you're undertaking are not just about fairness, but they're also about something very fundamental, which is atonement for past problems that have dramatically reduced the diversity of the federal workforce. The federal workforce was integrated in the years after the Civil War. But when Woodrow Wilson became president in 1913, he issued orders to his cabinet secretaries requiring that the federal civil workforce be resegregated in ways that were directly contrary to African American employees. And that turned the federal workforce from a model at the time into one that was one of the most harshly segregated at the time. That executive order hurt African Americans, and African American underrepresentation in federal employment persisted for decades as a result of an action of the President of the United States. What about the United States Senate? Joe McCarthy led a set of hearings in the 1950s attacking LGBTQ employees from this chamber, the greatest deliberative body in the world. Hearings were held, one of which was titled The Employment of Homosexuals and Other Sex Perverts in Government. Those hearings led to the issuance of a widely read report that falsely asserted that gay people posed a security risk. The report of the Senate found that gay people were unsuitable because, quote, one homosexual can pollute an entire government office. In response to the Senate hearings and Senator McCarthy's allegations, the Department of State increased persecution of LGBTQ people, and more than 1,000 Department of State employees were dismissed because of their sexual orientation. Now, I think it's important that we think about people who are not represented for any reason. If they're from rural America, if they're from a minority religion, it's all incredibly important. But when this body and this government has intentionally perpetrated policies that were hostile to African Americans or hostile to LGBTQ or hostile to anyone else, how dare someone come and question your efforts to create an equitable and fair workplace where people who have been historically kicked around by the federal government can see progress moving forward that will make them have confidence that they will be reviewed fairly and on the merit should they want to work for us. So that's why the work that you're doing is so very important to my way of thinking. Now, the GAO reports that have been done about the State Department, I want to just focus on one piece of it. Surveys of State Department employees tend to be more favorable about the State Department's recruiting efforts than about the State Department's retention efforts. And as sort of you move further up in the hierarchy at the State Department, the challenges of representation of communities that have been discriminated against in the past tends to dwindle. Tell us about what you are doing on the retention side to make sure that high-quality, diverse individuals who get over that tough hurdle and come into the State Department stay and make a career out of it.
Senator, thank you for the question. This is a very important aspect of it. You are right. We do better with recruiting than retaining. So we have stood up a retention unit. My office works very closely with them. They have begun exit interviews, and we are getting qualitative interviews. So if someone says they are intending to leave, we're also delving in to the why. They are also going to be doing stay interviews. And I was just speaking about this last evening about habitually doing it at year 19, because year 20 is when you're vested and can leave if you're age 50. And so we are looking to ensure we understand what keeps people going and what is making them think about leaving so that we can correct it before they go. So a lot of attention is going to retention.
And Ms. Diallo, do you have anything additional to add to that?
Thank you, Senator. Just to say that UCID has a very robust coaching program where we are providing executive coaching to our career staff. And our retention, our retention data in 2022 actually shows that we're at a low at 4.2%, which is down from 7.7 in 2021. And so I believe that the efforts that we're doing to provide professional development and training is actually proving and serving in our benefit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Shaheen.
Thank you, Senator Kaine. I'm filling